Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I am so glad you're joining me today because we are strapping on a very specific, incredibly empowering tool belt. Whether you're a busy parent just trying to weave a little bit of learning into a totally chaotic afternoon, or you're an early childhood educator looking to completely revamp your literacy centers, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to be unpacking the ultimate toolkit for teaching early literacy, and our spotlight today is on the wonderful, the magnificent letter M.
Look, we all know the real struggle here, right? Keeping an energetic, bouncing-off-the-walls preschooler engaged long enough to actually retain foundational reading skills, yeah, it's no small feat. Handing them a worksheet simply doesn't cut it anymore, and honestly, it's pretty boring for everyone involved. They need action. They need stories. They literally need to get their hands dirty. So, how do we make the letter M stick? Well, stick around, because by the end of our time together today, you're going to have a structured, multi-sensory journey ready to go that tackles this exact problem.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for the day. First, mastering the sound. Then, marvelous picture books. After that, magical sensory bins. We'll follow that up with meaningful crafts, and finally, assessing outcomes.
Starting us off, Step 1, mastering the M sound.
So, before we break out the messy paint and the toys, we've got to lay down some really strong building blocks. It's kind of like pouring the foundation of a house. We need to introduce the letter visually and auditorily so the kids have a solid anchor for all the fun stuff later. A really great place to start is just contrasting how we physically make the upper and lowercase letters. For the capital M, you'll verbally guide them up, down, and for the lowercase m, you say short line down, draw a hump, draw a hump. Actually, a fantastic tip is to tell kids that lowercase m is a grass letter, which just means it sits perfectly in the middle two lines of their writing paper. Giving them both the visual and the verbal instructions really locks in the physical mechanics of writing. Now, what's genuinely amazing is how quickly we can take that visual recognition and instantly create a powerful physical connection. Just ask the child what their absolute favorite meal is. Macaroni and cheese? Pizza? Whatever it is, have them rub their tummy, pretend they're looking at that tasty food, and say, mmm. You're basically linking a super positive physical action to the target sound. It works like a charm. And to really get that sound bouncing around the room, you can inject some serious energy by reciting a playful rhyme together. Listen to this one. Mickey and Minnie munch on mangoes and mulberries in the morning. When you bounce through those words, the repetition and the rhythm work absolute wonders for building phonemic awareness. Pretty soon, they're anticipating that M sound before you even say it. You know, another phenomenal auditory tool to bring into your space is music. Patty Shukla has this incredibly popular Phonics song that gets kids singing and signing the sounds all at once. M is for mouse, monkey, mat. You get the idea. Having them use their voices and their hands simultaneously, it's a real game changer for locking in that phonetic knowledge.
All right, moving on to Step 2, marvelous picture books.
Once we've got that auditory foundation rock solid, we can seamlessly shift gears right into story time. This is where we dramatically expand their vocabulary through carefully curated picture books that happen to heavily feature our letter of the day. Here is a fantastic lineup of must-read M books. We've got breathtaking classics like The Mitten by Jan Brett and Mike Milligan and his Steam Shovel, which is always a huge hit for kids who love big machines. But the crucial point here is variety. You want to pick stories that perfectly match your specific child's attention span and what they're currently obsessed with. And as you're reading these, try to highlight the funny little anecdotes to keep them hooked. Like in Mouse Mess, there's this wonderfully mischievous little rhyming sequence. Crackle, sweep, he rakes cornflakes, and jumps into the pile he makes. Kids absolutely love filling in those rhyming words. Or take Millie waits for the mail. They will literally burst out laughing at a cow whose favorite daily activity is happily scaring the poor mailman off his bicycle.
Let's jump into Step 3, magical sensory bins.
So story time is over, the kids are getting wiggly, it's time to get moving. Let's focus on tactile, hands-on learning that brings the letter to life for energetic preschoolers who just need to touch and feel their way through the alphabet. If you were to walk around your house right this second, what magical M items do you think you could toss into a plastic bin? The beautiful thing about the letter M is that the possibilities are practically endless. Let me give you a quick example. A homeschool mom named Ashley just looked around her kids' toy boxes and her kitchen, and in about 2 minutes she found a mask, a medal, a monster, a monkey, a motorcycle, a mermaid, a mouse, a toy man, and, hilariously enough, a plastic piece of meat. Like I said,
M is an incredibly easy letter to hunt for, which makes setting this whole thing up a total breeze for you. And the real magic happens when they actually start playing with it. Ashley shared this incredibly vivid story about her little boy, Eli. The second he saw the bin, he just started humming, "Mmm." He grabbed the toy motorcycle and drove it all around the edges going, "Vroom," before he stopped and thoughtfully decided that the toy mouse should probably eat the piece of meat. I mean, that right there, that is self-directed, imaginative play directly linked to our phonics lesson. It's brilliant.
Moving right along to step 4, meaningful letter M crafts.
Let's see how this builds. Now we're transitioning from the totally free exploration of the sensory bin to slightly more guided and definitely messier creative activities. Let's break down one of my absolute favorites, straw-blown monsters. First up, you just mix a little paint with water so it gets nice and thin. Next, hand the child an eyedropper and let them place drops of paint onto some paper. Finally, they blow through a plastic straw to spread the paint out, creating these crazy, unpredictable monster shapes. Once it dries, you glue on a couple of googly eyes and bam, you have an M is for monster masterpiece.
Now, if you need something maybe a tiny bit more structured, M is for marshmallow is a total crowd pleaser. You just cut out a giant letter M from construction paper, have the kiddo place colorful round office stickers all over it. Then they get to apply generous globs of glue, and we all know how much kids love glue. Finally, they stick mini marshmallows right onto those globs, and obviously the huge bonus here is that they get to snack on a few marshmallows while they work.
And hey, if you need a wider menu of crafts, we've got you covered. You could do a handprint mousse. You could try marble painting by rolling a paint-covered marble inside a cardboard box lid. That one's always a hit. There's the paper plate mushroom using do-a-dot markers. Or you could even try magnet painting by guiding a metal paper clip through wet paint using a magnetic wand held underneath the paper. Not only are these ridiculously fun, but they beautifully develop fine motor skills and open up all sorts of opportunities to practice oral language while you talk about what they're creating.
And finally, we arrive at step 5, assessing learning outcomes.
Look, as incredibly fun as the marshmallows and the messy paint are, we do need to make sure this all culminates in actual measurable learning, right? How do we know the toolkit did its job? Well, this brilliantly illustrates how a structured methodology ties the whole thing together. Every single activity we just covered, the rhyming songs, the picture books, the sensory bins, they all map directly back to a specific learning outcome. It's playful, sure, but it's play with a purpose.
So your ultimate goal as the parent or educator is actually quite simple, and it should be totally stress-free. After a week of doing these M activities, you just want to observe if the student can identify the letter M as an initial sound, like in moon or monkey, and as an ending sound, like in jam or plum. You can test this just by having them point to or circle those items on a board. If they can do that, then guess what? Your multisensory toolkit was a resounding success.
So, I want to leave you with a quick challenge before you go. Look around the room you're in right now. Can you spot 3 M objects? Go grab them, toss them into a bin, and jumpstart your child's multisensory learning journey today. You've got the tools, you have the structure, now go have some fun making the alphabet magical.